You guys have probably no idea how nervous I am, so I'm really going to ask for your patience and support right now. They told me to take a deep breath and relax and feel comfortable, so I'm going to tell you a story that happened. There you go. I've done public speaking before, and I've done a lot of camera work, but coming out with this story is it is the greatest challenge of my life right now, so I thank you all for being here with me and getting me through this. I want to tell you a story about a little girl that I once knew, and her name's Carrie, not to be confused with Carrie Roselle, but she had what we referred to in the past as learning disabilities. She had a sister that was born deaf and a young brother who had visual impairment. Her learning disabilities or challenges were never detected in grade school. She had a lot of problems with that. People thought of her as being cute, attractive, and fun, and she had every single way in the world of getting around her problems. Her sister was deaf, and they identified that. They identified her brother's visual impairments. But when she got to school, she had some severe problems following directions. When the teacher told her to go sit down and turn to page 32 and read paragraph 5, she'd get to her desk and feel confused. She had trouble with directions. She'd hide in the closet. She'd cry. One day she got so angry she slugged a wall till her hand bled. And when she went home, she said, "Mommy, look, it's bleeding." And she covered a bandage up with it, and she said, "Well, now I know my left hand from my right." And that helped her get through the flag salute and other activities. But her life was with hidden pain. She got through high school with a lot of help from her friends and knew how to get special support. She decided she wanted to become a speech therapist because she wanted to help people like her sister that were deaf. She went on to college, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy. It was very difficult. She started having stomach problems that were later diagnosed as irritable colon syndrome. And for you people that don't know about irritable colon syndrome, it is extremely painful. Your stomach goes into spasms, and you have no ability to digest your food. She started trips in and out through the hospital and was addicted to drugs, painkillers, and non-prescription drugs because she was in so much pain. At times it was difficult for her to walk. In her spare moments, her friends helped her, and she spent every spare moment in writing classes and reading labs trying to catch up. Now, this little girl had so much determination because she wanted to be an educator. She was obsessed with it. And that's all I can tell you. It was an obsession that carried her through everything. She entered graduate school, and this funny thing happened on the first day of graduate school. She had one friend that really helped her through and really helped rewrite her papers, and she learned every trick in the book to get through classes, drop classes. But on the first day of graduate school, her graduate professor called her in and said, "Carrie, I think you better think about another occupation." And she didn't want to do that. She refused to do that because she wanted to be an educator. And besides that, she couldn't waitress work, which, you know, if you're a woman, you got chances of waitressing or secretarial skills. But when you were probably working at best at this point at a 5th grade level, she had to leave. And she just said, you know, what am I going to do? She had no other choice except to pursue her goals of education, and the next 2 years were pure hell. Her friend that helped her through school was dying of cancer. She was inundated in and out of the hospital with drugs and problems that were so severe, she wondered how she got through that day. But she decided to start getting on focus. She started working out, getting in shape mentally and physically, started seeing a therapist, and tried to get rid of some of that pain that she once felt as a child, and it wasn't easy. She visualized herself running a half marathon, and for those of you that don't know what a half marathon is, I want to tell you it's 13 miles, and Sylvester Stallone and Rocky couldn't hold a contest up to Carrie. She ran, she worked out every day, and she wanted to run her write for her master's exams and wear a running t-shirt and sit there for a week straight and write, and that's what she visualized in her mind's eye, and she achieved it. It was a victory to some, but she never felt any excitement. And she never felt any joy because she never had a true sense of self-worth. You see, people cannot learn to do anything until they feel good about themselves, and she never learned to feel good about herself. After a while, she started teaching. and she really felt the victory the first time she held the children in her arms that struggled with problems like hers. And when they couldn't write and they couldn't read, she'd sit there and hold them and say, "I know what your pain's like because I've been there myself." You know, when she walked out on the playground, she felt like the Pied Pipers of Hamlet. The children would come to follow her, and they would press little notes and say, "I love you." Well, Carrie still was ambitious, and she never felt any sense of success. And she started realizing with her love of competition, she applied those theories of sport into sports and started working with professional athletes. She started working with weekend clinics and had such a thrill of sports and love that her private practice built up from weekend clinics to Olympic teams to the NFL. And then she got into television and started writing articles. People throughout the inner side of the sports and entertainment industry often utilized her as a therapist. It was through one of these interactions that she was introduced to the NFL, and through the NFL to the Foundation with Children with Learning Disabilities. And a year ago, she came to the dinner and just intended to have a good time and help out to the cause because she finally felt like there was an organization that might have understood her problem. And when she got to the dinner, for those of you that were here last year, she got to the dinner, to the tent, and saw the symptoms of what learning disabilities, or I would like to refer to that as we would today, learning challenge meant. And she saw the sign and was shocked. Said, following directions, attention deficit order. She was stunned because she realized for the first time that that was her. And may I add that she did fight the state of California for a teaching credential because at the time they wouldn't let her, they didn't want her to achieve any goals because they realized that she had severe writing problems, and she did fight the state for a credential, and she was aware that there were problems but didn't realize how severe. I've skipped around a lot, and there's a lot of things I wanted to say about this special girl, and I guess some people say she's special, and maybe she realizes it now, maybe not. I don't know, but I am Carrie. And the hardest thing I've ever had to do this last year was practice this speech and get up here and try and tell you how severe my problems were. There were times that I wish that I had never lived because I never felt good, and I just kept crying and never thought I'd get to the end of the light. But last year, when I came to the dinner and felt the kind of support that this organization gives, it's changed my life. And if you ever doubt the kind of work that this organization does, don't for a minute, because it means so much to me. I want to read the words off the back of the program that you have tonight in conclusion. Let no child be demeaned nor have his wonder diminished because of our ignorance or inactivity. Let no child be deprived of discovery because we lack the resources to discover his problem or her problem. Let no child ever doubt himself or his mind because we are unaware of our commitment. And I want to leave you with these words, and you'll never probably ever understand how much your support means, but each and every day there's children that are reached by the foundation just as I was. And maybe I talked too fast and didn't tell you how much, but I want to thank you again right now. I love you all.